Okay guys, you're all welcome back. Today we'll be doing the eyebrow, the eyeshadow, and we'll be completing the face work. So we're going to start with the brows. And with the brows, what I always do is that first I always use an edge control on the brows or a brow tamer. But I love using this edge control because it's kind of affordable. So I'll just take a small amount of it on with a spoolie brush and use it to brush the brow hairs upward. This is going to help the brow hairs to remain in one place, to remain in place, so that you'll be able to come out now with that natural brow shape. So after applying, I allowed it to get dry, and then now I'm going in with some powder. You can use any powder at this stage. You can use a setting powder, you can use your powder palette, any powder at this stage. This powder is just to help eliminate any oil that might be on the brow that's due to the edge control or the brow tamer that you applied. I'm just using a small brush to just dust the powder on top of the brows, and that's it. Right now I'm going to be outlining the brows, and I'll start with the lower part of the brow. Okay, take note of where I'm starting. I'm not starting at the beginning of the brow. I'm giving some space. This is because I want to come and create that natural or that ombre effect in front. So when I give that space, I'll then take it outward. And for the upper part of the brow, I'm also leaving some space. I'm not starting where I want the brow to start. So I will leave that space and I take it outward and I start drawing my brows. When I get to the arc, I'll then take it down. It is with the upper part that you take down. The lower part, you kind of just bring it out straight. But the upper part, you take it down when you're outlining the upper part of the brow, and join it and link it with the line, with the lower line. And after linking, you can just randomly feel the tail. Okay, just feel by the tail randomly. After randomly filling the tail of the brow, I'm going to be using this pencil. This is the Davis pencil. See this pencil, it's very nice. This pencil is like God sent. I can put it that way. I'm going to be using this pencil, and I make sure that it's very sharp. I'm going to be using it to draw hair-like strokes in front. So I'm going to be drawing something like hairs in front. And if before you're drawing something like hair, means that your pencil has to be very sharp. Please, I'm emphasizing on this for a reason. Your pencil has to be very sharp before you draw these hair-like strokes in front. If your pencil is not sharp, it's going to be very fat. It's not going to look like hair. After outlining and filling the brows, I'll then go in with a light concealer and use it to outline the lower part of the brow. I normally, when I do makeup, right, and I do my brows after, I don't usually outline the upper part, because while doing it, I always make sure, or I try my best to make it as straight as possible, so that I'll not have to outline it, so that I'll not have to conceal it, so that I'll not have to conceal it. So I just conceal the lower part to make sure that it is very straight, and so that it will also make the brow bone to pop. After doing that, I'll be using this small fluffy brush to blend it out. And I'm going to start by blending the edges. This is because the brush is still clean. So if you use the clean brush to blend the edges, it's going to help you get rid of the harsh line. So when I get rid of all the harsh line on the two sides, I will then just come now in the middle and just tap it. Okay, I'm going to blend the middle part by just tapping, but with the edges, I first of all started with the edges to remove the harsh line, and then I just maintain the product. Now I just tap it and maintain the product in the middle part. After blending it, we are going to be setting it with powder. Like, there's one thing they always say with makeup: for every cream thing or every liquid thing you use, you have to set it with powder to keep it in place, else it's going to break or it's going to move. And I'm just using a light shade of powder from my powder palette. I'm using a shade that is similar to the shade of the concealer. So I'm just going to take it and tap it on the concealer on the brows, just to set it. So we're done with the brows, and now we'll be moving to eyeshadow. Like I always say, before applying your eyeshadow, always use an eyeshadow primer. It is very important. An eyeshadow primer is going to help your eyeshadow last long, and it's also going to make your eyeshadow colors to pop. Like, it's going to make the color to be more visible. And I'm going to be using this eyeshadow primer by this Beignet eyeshadow base. To apply a small amount of the eyeshadow base on the eyelids, and I'll be using this brush I used to blend my concealer to blend it out. I'm going to blend it out properly, Please always make sure you blend your things well, especially this eyeshadow primer. Always take your time and blend it well so that your eyeshadow will be smooth. Because if it's not smooth, it's the base of your eyeshadow. If the base of your eyeshadow is not smooth, you're also going to be having a very cakey eyeshadow, or your eyeshadow is going to be having lines or patches. Blending, I'm going to be applying the transition shade. The transition shade, right, is that shade that will blend, it will help your eyeshadow to seamlessly blend into the brows. And the transition shade, like, is mostly matte eyeshadows, and it's usually like shades like brown, nude shades. So that's it. And I'll be using this brown shade from the eyeshadow, applying it on this area right here just above the crease. Note that I'm just blending it as I'm applying, and I'm using circular motions. Yeah, while applying this thing, just be blending it. And always use a very light hand. Do not press, because if you press, you're going to be moving the eyeshadow primer. The eyeshadow primer is going to move, so do not press it or do not use force. So next, I'll be going in with a lid color, and I'll be using a flat fluffy brush to pick some of the yellow eyeshadow and place it on the eyelid. This one is just placement. I don't need to blend it, so I'm just tapping it. So I'm just taking it from the eyeshadow palette. I'm taking the eyeshadow from the palette and tapping it on top of the eyelid. And I'm tapping it just at the beginning of the eyelid. I will not go right to the outer corner of the eye. That's because I'm going to be using black there. After placing the yellow, I'm going to be taking some black eyeshadow and mixing it with a little bit of brown. That's because I do not want it to be pure black. I just want it to be kind of a little bit black. But I don't want it to be too black. So I'm mixing it with a small brown, and I'm going to blend it at the outer corner of the eye, and I'm blending it using circular motions. Okay, I'm blending it using circular motions. I'll put it right down. I'm concentrating the pigments down. You don't want to take the brush from the eyeshadow palette and just place it up. You put it right down, and then when you put it down, now you can then blend it up. It's going to be easy for you to blend it that way. Because if you take it up, the black is going to go towards the eyeshadow, and it will be difficult to you to make it fade out in that area. And now we're done with the eyeshadow. So right now we're going to be fixing the baking that we did. That's the excess setting powder on the face. And to do that, what I do is I take this small brush, and I use it to take powder from the powder palette. I take the powder that is like similar to the color on her face, that's similar to the color of the highlighted part of her face, and I take the powder and I use it to brush the setting powder, and I just apply it on top of the setting powder and try to blend it. I'm not dusting the setting powder off, I'm trying to tap it. This powder is going to change the color of the setting powder to the color that I want to have on the face. So I'm just using this brush, I'm tapping the brush on it, I'm trying to blend it, I'm brushing and trying to blend. But I'm not using force, because if you use force, you're going to move your makeup. When you're blending your things, always use a very light hand. So that's how I'm going to do it for all the parts or all the areas where the setting powder was. And then when I'm done, I'm going to take the big fluffy brush. I'm taking the big fluffy brush, and I'm using it to blend the other parts of the face, so that I'll be sure that everything is well blended. I went ahead and did her lashes, and I'm just going to use the Kiss Beauty spray, the spray I used at the beginning when I applied the foundation, to spray the face. I told you guys it's a setting spray, right? Yes, it's a setting spray, and I'm going to use it now to set the makeup. A setting spray is very important. This is something you don't want to miss in your makeup kit, because this setting spray is going to helps takes out the powdery look on the face, because when you're applying powder, your face is going to be looking like powder. The way you use this setting spray, it gives a kind of, it sinks the powder into the skin and just makes the face to look like, give the face a natural kind of look. And after spraying, of course, you have to let it dry before you do any other thing on the face. Right now I'm doing the lips, and for the lips I'll be using this Davis pencil to line the lips. So I'm just using it to outline the upper part of the lip, that's to line the lip, and to outline also the lower part of the lip. And after outlining the lips, I just went in with this pink shape from my lip palette, and I use it at the center of the lips. Yeah, so that's just it for the lip, very simple. Then after that, I went in with some lip gloss, and that is it. This is the finished look. Just tell me how you feel about the class in the comment section. Was it helpful? Was it insightful? Do you want us to do this more often? Tell me how you feel about it, and your wish is going to be granted, hopefully. And please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because I'll be dropping some tutorials here in the days ahead.